So today I'm going to be doing my November / my end of the year TBR. As you can see, I'm not currently home, so I don't have all my books with me, and I also don't have my TBR jar. So what I decided I would do for this TBR is to actually do the end of the year TBR tag that has a couple of questions, and then I added on some of my own questions just to help me craft my end of the year TBR, which will be primarily what I'm reading in November and probably December as well, although I think I will still do a separate December TBR. So let's just begin with the questions that I have. First one is, are there any books you've started this year that you need to finish? So I'm currently reading one book that was on my October TBR and I'm still in the middle of it, and that is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. I'm about halfway into it. I did have to take a brief break on this book because I had the audiobook checked out from the library and then my hold ended, so I had to request it again. But I just ended up buying the audiobook so that I could finish it. This was my Patreon book club book for October, and I'm very excited to finish this. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's about this woman who becomes the blood maid to the upper class, who, they're not really vampires, they're human, but they drink blood to sustain their youth, to gain healing properties from it, so she becomes the blood maid to this woman. And yeah, I'm loving it so far. The vibes are really good. I love the setting. It really is reminding me of that movie that came out recently, The Invitation. Very similar vibes to that. So this is one that I need to finish, and I will finish very soon. So the next question, is there a new release that you still need to get to? And for this one, I wrote down The Family Game by Catherine Stedman. This came out, I think, last month, and I really want to read it. I wanted to get to it in October, but it didn't happen. And this is supposed to be kind of compared to the movie Ready or Not, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's about this woman who has to play a lethal game to survive in order to join her husband's family. So, you know, literally the plot of Ready or Not. I'm so excited to read it. The next question is, are there any books you are still waiting on being published? So I do have a little list here. So C.L. Polk just came out with this book called Even Though I Knew the End, and this is supposed to be like sapphic period piece murder mystery, and I think it's also fantasy about this woman who sold her soul to save her brother's life. She is offered up one last job before she has to serve an eternity in hell. It says, but when she turns it down, her client sweetens the pot by offering up the one payment she can't resist, the chance to have a future where she grows old with the woman she loves. To succeed, she is given 3 days to track down the White City vampire, Chicago's most notorious serial killer. Like, what? It's gay, it's fantasy, it's historical, it's dark, like, hello? Sounds amazing. Then another one that I really cannot wait to read is Reader, I Murdered Him by Betsy Cromwell. This says that it is a book of female agency and revenge about a girl who becomes a teenage vigilante who roams Victorian England using her privilege and power to punish her friends' abusive suitors and keep other young women safe. I've been really anticipating that. I did not realize though it is a young adult book. It says that it's also sapphic. Very excited for that. Then What You Gonna Do by Avery Flynn, which is a romance book about witches that sounds super cute. And then the last one that I'm really excited about is Sophie Lark's Anastasia book, which I know nothing about, but it's Sophie Lark and it's Anastasia, which, say no more. The next question is, what are the top 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? And then I also combined this with ones that I think could still end up being favorites. So I chose 3 books by 3 of my favorite authors. The first one is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn, who wrote the Veronica Speedwell series, and I really think that this could be a favorite. This is about a group of 4 women who are in their 60s, and they are retired assassins, and they are sent on an all expenses paid vacation to mark their retirement, but then one of their own targets them and tries to kill them. It sounds really fun, and I think that I could really love this. I love Deanna Raybourn. Then I have The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman. This is my Patreon book club book for November. You guys know Jennifer Hartman has become a favorite author of mine. Her 2 books that I've read, Still Beating and Lotus, are like up there, the top favorites of the whole year. And this one sounds like it's gonna be just as heartbreaking as those other 2 books. This is about a woman whose husband dies and his heart is donated to somebody else, and she really still wants to have a connection with her husband, so she reaches out to this person who received her husband's heart, and he's this man. And I believe that they end up falling in love with each other, and it sounds like it's gonna be really emotional. And then the other one that I have is Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher, who I've also fallen in love with this year. I've read so many of her books, and this is another one that I really, really want to read. It takes place in the same universe as Sword Heart, which is my favorite book of hers. So I feel like there's really good odds that this is also gonna be a favorite. The next question is, what are some sequels you want to read before the end of the year? I really want to finish the Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa. I have Famine and then Death that I still have to read. These are romance books about the Four Horsemen coming down to Earth to end humanity, and they're so much fun. Then I also really want to read the second book, Harley the Rose. I think it's called Her Soul to Take? I can't remember what the title is, but it's the second one. I loved the first book, and I believe that the second one just came out on audiobook, so I really want to read that. These are romances about demons and cults and monsters, and they're really fun. And then the last sequel that I really want to read is A Treacherous Trade by Kerrigan Byrne. This is the second book in this Victorian murder mystery series where the main character is trying to track down Jack the Ripper because he murdered her best friend. And it's just a really fun historical murder mystery series. I loved the first book, so I can't wait to read the second one. And then the last question that I wrote down is, what is at the top of your Kindle Unlimited TBR? So I did just recently download a ton of Kindle Unlimited books because I am at my parents' house and I didn't bring a ton of books with me, so I wanted a lot of KU ones. So the ones that I have at the top of my TBR on there, we have Black Sheep by Brynne Weaver and Alexa Harlow. This one I've seen compared a lot to the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey, and it involves a serial killer, and I've been hearing really great things about it. A lot of people have been messaging me about it and telling me that I would love it, so I really want to read that. Then King of Wrath by Anna Huan, which just recently came out. This is the first book in her new series, and I don't know anything about this other than it is an arranged marriage romance, but I'm here for anything that she writes. One that I really wanted to get to in October was Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. This is an ex-boyfriend's dad romance, except the main character is a witch and the dad is a demon. What? It literally sounds like it was perfectly written for me, and I can't wait to read it. And then the last one that I really, really want to read is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've been seeing this book everywhere, and initially it didn't really pique my interest because it is a small town romance. I think that the hero is a bull rider. Like, that's just not normally my jam, but I've just literally been hearing nonstop about this book. I feel like I need to read it. So that is everything that's on my end of the year TBR and that I'm probably gonna be reading in November. Let me know in the comments, what is the book that you most wanna read before the end of the year? I feel like all the ones that I just mentioned are potentially could be 5 stars. I really hope that I get a lot of 5 stars out of them. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!